And
cheers, everyone. Welcome to another. What? All right, curtains up. You say that first because I really didn't know you were going to say. I can tell you right now, Mr. Hunyadi, your internet is wonky outside, but hopefully it'll be good.
All right,
and I want to see it go wonky when you do two legs. But anyway, be that as it may, here you are, and here I am, Mr. Tim Allen, for another CineMayo movie chat. Hey, why don't we, before we get started here, why don't we mention something from the very beginning? And if we do, how many people do you think later on are going to come in and remind us about the passing of Diane Keaton?
Every one of them.
I put the over under at 4.
Over, under. Yeah. Yeah, what are you gonna do, man? It's everybody's going, that's Diane Keaton, 79 years old. And I'll talk a little about her later on when we get to our choices, as we say hello to some people like Ramolga that are here. We got 3 people so far to say hello to. I'm going to try to drag it out to last a half an hour. Hello, Earl loves Dan. Hello. Hello, Mike, a.k.a. Gray, 1951. Curtain up. I thought you were going to say you're coming up. I'm like, whoa, that's
like a flower.
A surprise. Yeah. Hello, Eric. Yeah, I mean, you know what it is? I mean, these things are natural, right? If you're older, but now they're hitting ones that I grew up with, more, that I really remember in real time.
Exactly. I mean, how lucky have we been to be grown up or just alive during this era, right? I mean, late 1950s to now, how many legends have we been, experiencing and growing with these wonderful actors, performers, musicians, whatever you want to say. I mean, it's really cool that we've had the honor to be alive during all these, stellar performances.
Well, no argument for me there. That's for sure. What's going on, Penny Lane? La-di-da, la-di-da. What's going on, Penny Lane? Hello, Douglas. What's up? Happy Columbus Day to you. Now that you mention it. So, that's a good word, folks.
Movies.
Let's move. It's supposed to be the good word, right? Today. Well, let's get an idea first. I watched 2 that I know of. Plus, I forgot some. How about you guys?
Oh yeah. Theater 2? And Blu-rays, baby.
All right.
All right.
I bought 5 movies, I think, and I actually picked up a couple, which is.
We're gonna be starting with you, I think, Tim, when it comes time. This time we always put you late, so I agree with Tom. Of course, we have been very fortunate to see and hear the work of so many great talents.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
Sure.
One thing I will start off with, I forgot this the last 2 weeks to show this, things I picked up. I bought this. I'm going to put it on. This is The Devil's Reign from 1975, cheesy, not too great horror movie. And it says Severin. Now, I don't know why. This is numbered here. I can't make out. Is that 1481 out of 1500?
Yeah.
No, I say it's 148 of 500.
148 out of 500. Double slash.
No.
At least they could make it so you know what the hell it is.
I mean, it could be that, or it could.
I think it's 148 out of 1500 is what I think.
Yeah.
We all think different things.
It's ridiculous. You can't because you can't tell. But anyway, now I like this movie. I mean, it's not great, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine. We hate to say that, but it's Ernest Borgnine as a goat demon, which is pretty cool. But the thing is, Now, I just got this not too long ago. I sent for it, and it came, I didn't know there was a slipcover. When I sent for it, in other words, I have a sealed copy back there. This appeared at my record store. This is the cover of The Devil's Reign, and it had the slipcover. Now, I don't go crazy. I don't care about slipcases. I really don't. But for some reason, when I saw this one, I'm like, this is a pretty cool slipcase. So I think I'll rebuy it just for the slipcase. And that's what I did in this case. In this case, I bought the slipcase. So I have something. I've been meaning to show that 2 shows ago. And I keep forgetting it. So this time I remembered, and there you go. So, Tim, why don't you show us what you've picked up if you got some stuff? And then later, we'll start with you first later for the reviews.
I found 3 things, and I actually would have bought a couple more, but they were supposed to be $3 a piece, and I didn't want to pay $3 for the ones I left behind. And then, of course, the lady checking me out only charged me $1 a piece, so I would have grabbed more. But anyway, I picked up one of my favorite, all on Blu-ray. This is one of my favorite films. I love this film, so I've never seen it on Blu-ray. John Cusack, High Fidelity. I just adore this film.
I'm a big fan, you two.
And it's got 45 minutes of some of the best cut scenes of any film ever. It's just great.
The best scene in that movie wasn't used, in my opinion. The one with Beverly D'Angelo with his
that's one of the great cut scenes. Yeah. It's one of my favorite books too, by the way. I love the book. So if you don't know High Fidelity, I always said it's a film about me. Just unfortunately, I don't have the women. But other than that, this is a film about me. It's a great film. Then, because it is the season, because it was only I thought it was $3, but still, to have it on Blu-ray, why not? I bought Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh no!
Yeah, I may be a horror guy, but I've never seen it.
Oh, it actually is a creepy movie. I'm not going to say it's scary, but it's creepy. I've got it on Blu-ray. And this is the bargain. And I wasn't sure because I'm not sure where it's from. This isn't American. But $1. I got the entire Band of Brothers series on Blu-ray for $1. And I'm not sure where it's from, Australia, UK, but I put it in my player and it plays. So that's a really good thing. So right. What is this? 6-8 discs?
Who released it? Who released it though, Tim?
It just says HBO all over it.
Okay. Well, if it's
maybe
HBO, then I can see that being
maybe DreamWorks.
Yeah, DreamWorks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell. I can see that being an all-region Blu-ray then.
Yeah, but I mean, I looked all over and I can't find any region thing anywhere on it. So, but I put the first disc in and it fired right up. So I was like, okay. So yeah, Band of Brothers for $1. Can't go wrong there. And that's the 3 things I picked up.
All right. Before we get to you, Tom, I'm going to catch up a little more with some comments. Hello, Mike. Back to the Devil's Reign thing. It looks like a double slash line between the 148 and the 500. Could be. Who cares anyways? Anybody really care like how many they've got? I don't know. I guess people care about it.
I just went to the Severin website and it doesn't say how many copies they made.
Yeah. Ernest Borgnine as a goat demon is kind of a funny phrase, sort of like Don Rickles as the Headless Horseman.
Goosebumps.
I had a first watch of Primal Fear. Why don't you come on here and tell us about it? 1996 and Edward Norton's performance. You mean Ed Norton? Ed Norton performance. That's like Timothy Allen instead of Tim Allen.
I mean, that's the movie that put him on the map right there.
Yeah, I just remember wasn't that big a deal to me. I don't know what I expected, but there you go. But I didn't hate the movie. It's just not one of my big favorites. And yeah.
Yeah, and I've worked at record stores.
But I mean, I get it even without working at the record store. You know, I've been in record stores, so I get it. Nope. It's another one I have not seen, Douglas. The term movies is like calling shoes walkies.
Well, you just have to look at the year. You just have to look at the year for I Summon Darkness, and you'll see why he hasn't watched it yet.
Well, I don't know. I've been watching movies later than 2020.
Yeah. I'm very proud of you, and I'm proud of you for doing so.
The horror movies are actually pretty good. You know, I think I watched quite a few in the 2020s, but they're pretty good. You know, regular movies don't interest me yet too much. I haven't seen that many of them. I'm glad we got J.D. Thompson checking in. Well, we do this show I don't know if you know, every Monday we do this show, and it's just movies, you know, or whatever. My older daughter came over to visit yesterday. We watched a few episodes of The Odd Couple. Now, that's what you should have done. You should have made dinner for her, and then when Felix comes in, he could say, "This is what he served for dinner: red wine and fish sticks." I saw somebody posted a picture of that. It had the Oscar was having dinner with his lady friend Nancy, and then Felix comes home, says that.
Or you could just watch Joe's live streams and wait for him to push the button and say, "You should stop being annoying to me."
In the movie, he says, "There is no evil here, only purity." It's a good spoken line impersonation. All right. So, Tom, have you picked up anything?
I did, and obviously, you know, the greatest genre of all time, the Criterion Collection, right? They've been, you know, awesomely been putting out the films of Wes Anderson, right? And they just put out a box set of Wes Anderson films. I think they released a box set of Wes Anderson's first 10 films, but they also released the last two separately. And these were the two that I haven't seen yet. Okay, one is the French Dispatch. Okay, which was 2021. Okay, right during the height of the pandemic. And I haven't seen that one yet. And I gotta tell you, this might be my least favorites of Wes Anderson's films. It was fine. You know, it's kind of like a trilogy of stories, all concerning, you know, one syndicate, which is the French Dispatch. But you know, it was okay at best. But I'm glad I saw it because I want to see all of his films. Okay, but then there's the one before that they also released that I haven't seen yet, and that's 2018's Isle of Dogs, which is a kind of like an animation style of film, like he did with the Fantastic Mr. Fox. So I haven't watched this one yet, but I look forward to seeing that. And those are the two Blu-rays that I've picked up this past week. And kind of going easy because I've got 3 weeks in a row of traveling to go see Paul McCartney. And I got to be a good boy, you know, because I need to get more Paul McCartney shirts and I need to get more Paul McCartney posters. Okay, and it's just nonstop, you know. Just
enjoy it now. You know, he's here, right? Paul's here doing it.
Right. Yeah. But we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that because we don't want to turn this into a Paul McCartney show.
Tom, I never even heard of the last movie you showed. I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan. I didn't even know that film existed.
Isle of Dogs.
Yep.
This is the one. Isle of Dogs or the French Dispatch? Which one, buddy?
No, Isle of Dogs. French Dispatch I haven't seen either. But I knew it existed. Isle of Dogs, never. That's Wow.
Yeah, I'll be watching this one soon. As in, the next home media release, that I probably watch will probably be The Isle of Dogs. So, and I loved the fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought that
no,
was a really good
it
stop motion animation film.
well, not only that, the thing that impresses me about that film is that it's such a Wes Anderson film, even though it's animation. It's
Right.
exactly a Wes Anderson
Yes.
film. You
Right.
can tell the moment it comes on, this is a Wes Anderson film, and yet it's puppets. It's
Yes.
absolutely amazing.
And you know what? I think that's the problem I had with the French Dispatch is that it's such a Wes Anderson film
They
that
all are anymore.
yeah. Well,
That's
now, yes, but up until
yes,
the Grand
yeah,
Budapest Hotel, I thought all of his films were excellent up until that. But then the films
yeah.
after that, it's just like such a big Wes Anderson deal that you kind of you know you can't separate the two. You can't enjoy the movie in a way because it's such a big Western. Oh, look, they're in this small room, all right, but it's so detailed in a Wes Anderson way that you can't
Yeah.
help but think, okay, I'm watching a Wes Anderson film.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, his last film was just so Wes Anderson. It almost put you off a little bit. Asteroid City. It was just so Wes Anderson. It just, you know,
Yeah,
people don't really act in his film. They stand still and they talk mostly. Then that's the way he wants it, and it's fine. But after a while, you almost wish. He would do something else.
Well, you
right.
have to ask these two guys about this because I haven't seen it. What is that? Love and Weddings and Other Disasters. What is that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
No, I have no idea. Nope.
Yes, you see, your
Hmm.
Joe's camera image is nice and sharp, but Tom
I
is in low res.
Yes, and I purposely put it that way because I knew I was outside and I knew that the low res would be better suited for the location I'm recording at right now.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I think we're going to start with Tim this time to tell us about what he's watched this last week. So why don't you go for it, Timmy?
Okay. All right. Well, I mostly finished up my Paul Newman box.
You realize it's Halloween month, right, guys? You realize this is horror month.
Yeah, and I was going to talk to you about that. For me, when I was a kid, Halloween was another day of the year, and a couple days before, you might go, "What do I want to be for Halloween?" You'd go through your closet, you'd find a couple things, you'd put it on, you'd go out, you get some free candy, and that was it. To me, Halloween has never been a big deal. It never will
Well, you're
be.
not a horror guy. That's why I'm a horror guy.
But so anyway, I watched. Let me put these in a better order here. First one I watched was Pocket Money.
Yeah,
It's a buddy film that I don't think works all that well. It's okay. It's certainly no, Butch Cassidy or The Sting or it's not. It's a buddy film and it kind of works, but I don't know. I didn't love it. It's okay. If you love Paul Newman, see it, but otherwise, I think it's a skippable film. Of all the films I watched out of this box, this is the most skippable for me. Then Somebody Up There Likes Me, which is the film that sort of started to put him on the map. It was his second film, I think, second or third. And he's playing Rocky Graziano, and I think he's overacting. I get what he's doing, but I think this is the only time I've ever seen Paul Newman overact.
a quick appearance from Steve McQueen in there at the beginning of the film.
Steve McQueen is in it early. There's a couple of other people. I forget who. There's a couple of people earlier in the career in this thing too. But it's worth seeing, and I liked Pierre and Jelly better than I liked Newman, I think, in this film. But good enough. I mean, I recommend it. Just didn't love it. And then I thought I'd seen this, but apparently I hadn't. I watched Harper, which it's supposed to be. It's basically like a film noir, a modern film noir, and he's down and out. There's a little. I mean, I think they got maybe a little bit of the Rockford Files from this because he keeps getting beat up all the time. He doesn't care about money all that much. It's a little bit of Jim Rockford in Harper. So this was good. This was really good. Of the films I watched this week, this was the best one of them. Really good private eye kind of film. From what?
No, Harper's a good movie. Harper's a
64, 66. Yeah. No, this was a really good movie. And then they made a sequel a bunch of years later, like 9 or 11 years later, called The Drowning Pool. This isn't as good. This isn't nearly as good. It's okay. It's
just like the Paul Archive series. You could go back over something. Nothing.
Anyway, it's weird because there was a commentary for Harper, and he talks about Ross McDonald, who wrote the novels for both of these films, and how he wanted to do an early Ross McDonald because his plots kept getting more and more and more complicated to the point where they were ridiculous. And this is one of his later novels. And I see what he was talking about because the plot of this is kind of silly and ridiculous. And to me, it just doesn't work.
That had a young Melanie Griffith in that.
I was just about to point that out. A very young Melanie Griffith, who I don't like. And I don't like her when she was young. She always played the same pretentious, over-sexualized young female in all of her early roles.
She's probably good at Best in Working Girl. That was her, right? Working Girl?
Yeah, I think so. But so
like
I don't
remember
when she was young.
20 years later, she would do a great flashing scene for Paul Newman in Nobody's Fool.
There you go. Which would be probably way better than anything she did in this film.
Right.
There you go. The Drowning Pool. It's okay. If you've seen Harper, see The Drowning Pool. But it's not one of his great films. And here's the box that got him out of 7 films in this box.
There you go. Yeah.
And
where's the silver chalice?
For Joe, there's no silver chalice in the box. Sorry, Joe.
I don't think the chalice. I don't think. 1 second. I don't think the silver chalice. No, it was released on VHS. I don't think it's been released on Blu-ray or 4K yet.
Good. Okay. For Joe, because it's October, just today, I just finished rewatching for the first time in a long time. I watched The Fly, the original.
That's a good one.
Fly from 1953. So that I would have watched some horror, so Joe would be happy. And this is very different from I every time I see this film, I don't remember it for some reason. I always think of the sequel.
The sequel.
So and then
there's got a real fly monster.
I need to track down the third one.
The third one is very different. It's very different.
Yeah, I know it's very different, but it seems good. It seems.
I like the third one. I do. I like it.
The Curse of the Fly is the third one.
Yeah.
If anybody keeping track at home. So I watched The Fly. Enjoyable. They should have made, even Vincent Price, even in his very later years, just before he was going to die, they should have made the second one in color too.
Right. The second one was in color. That's weird, right? The first one was in color. The second one was black and white.
He said what he said was, I love black and white. Black and white is fine. So if you're going to make 2 films, you make them both in black and white or both in black or both in color. You don't make the first film in color and the second film is black and white. You don't do that. And I kind of agree with him.
Well, that's a trilogy that I do enjoy. I enjoy the whole trilogy of that.
Yeah. So
One
anyway,
of the
that's
one of
the
the
film
great
I watched.
one of the great punk songs of all time, "Return of the Fly" by the great band the Misfits, with the vocal talents of Danzig.
I've seen enough of Yoko's film Fly. I mean, I've seen enough footage. It's just I don't need to see more.
I don't. I've seen little snippets of Fly. I've never seen the whole thing.
There you go, buddy. There you go, Rome. Little Werner's there for you.
All right.
Yes.
Low res signals go through walls, but then high res. All right. So, is that it, Tim?
Yes, that's everything I've watched this week.
Well, thank you. I've only got a couple. First, because it's Halloween month, I'm going pretty steadily through my Munsters. I'm watching the Munsters, and I'm enjoying it, loving every minute of it. What a great show. These guys were so good. Fred Gwynn, he's so perfect for this. And I watched an episode called, I'm on season 2, Not Just a Pretty Face. Not just another pretty face, or something like that. Or just another pretty face. Be it as it may, it's a popular episode where Grandpa is performing an experiment in the laboratory. Herman goes down to check on it, and he's not supposed to go down there, and he gets electrocuted in the head. And the result is he's disfigured for life. And he disfigured? He turns into Fred Gwynn. So Herman, they're all horrified because he looks human, and Fred Gwynn gets to do one without the makeup for a lot of that episode, and it's just so good. Herman and Grandpa and Lily, they're so well acted. You can't replace them. You just can't. They tried so many times, so many different actors in the roles. So I watched that one and a couple of other ones, but I thought I'd mention that. Now, I think I've only got 2 movies on. I'm trying to look at my list here. Yeah. Well, because Diane Keaton has died, I decided to put on one that you would expect. Pretty much, I haven't seen it in a while. Annie Hall, right? I just got these on Blu-ray, some of these, so I wanted to do the Blu-ray of it, watch it. And the last time I talked about Annie Hall, I always say, I'm a pretty big Woody Allen fan. And I think this is one of Woody Allen's best movies. I also think it's at, if I say peak, he's just like the right age in this kind of thing. And he's at all his powers, But I never thought it was as great as everybody says it is. It's good. I love it. It's enjoyable. But to me, it's a very cozy, good feeling, cute little movie. Nothing big. I love, of course, the New York photography. And I had forgotten there's so much good shooting in here, scenes that go on a long time, all in one take, like on the movie line when he's on the guy's spouting off all kinds of stuff about the movie behind him, and he's being obnoxious, and that's a long take. And I'm looking at how all these actors, they had to get it all right. They had to do it perfect in one shot. And I relate to Woody Allen in this, Alvy Singer a lot. I'd be that guy ranting, you believe this guy on the line? I shoot his mouth off all the time, and getting annoyed at little things, paranoia. Yeah, I related to a lot of that. I also like one shot early on where I think what's his name? Is it Tony Roberts? Tony Roberts is
yes,
friend of Woody's in this. And there's really one early scene when they're chatting, and you see a beautiful shot of a city block, and you hear them talking. And for a long time, there's nobody there. It's just a city street. And then you find out they're all the way at the far end, and they're walking, talking, and they get closer and closer to the camera. And the whole conversation is as they get close. Once the camera meets them, then they pull back and walk with them, It's really a cool effect. And I like all that kind of thing. It's a beautiful movie to look at. I just don't know what all the hoopla is. One thing I want to say, let's talk about Diane Keaton. She's really, she's so charming in this and everything, but
Right.
The movie's called Annie Hall. I'm nitpicking here, as if it's like, oh, this really unusual girl. We're going to name the movie after her because there's something so different about her or special about her. To me, there's nothing really that different from a nice woman. I don't really see anything really like. Am I wrong? What do you think? Stand out like, oh, she was so different and unusual and quirky. And Annie Hall, we're going to make a movie about this unusual woman. Or what do you think?
Well, I mean, fashion wise, maybe there was a little something different. You know, seeing her dress more not feminine, you know, more masculine in a way.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. Yeah.
You know, and in that sense, maybe that character was a little bit more unique, and maybe, you know, not being as feminine as you know, characters in the past. Feminine. Okay, I've been drinking a lot
I
today.
can't say the word.
You know,
Feminine.
yeah, feminine. Thank you. And
that's not right either. I was making fun.
But,
sorry.
Thank you. No, thank you, because like I said,
feminine.
I've had a few drinks before we
Freneman.
But I tell you what, as much as I like her in Annie Hall, I mean, the best scene for me will always be that confrontation with Al Pacino in The Godfather Part 2 about the whole, you know, abortion scene where, you know, it was an abortion, Michael, because this whole Sicilian thing has to end, or you know, whatever it is that she says in that scene, which is fantastic. But Annie Hall, I think, is the movie that, you know, absolutely she should be remembered for, and it's cool that you rewatch that.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this every time this comes up. I prefer a movie that came 5 years, I think, before this. That's Play It Again, Sam, which is basically. Yes. Well, what's going on there? The door's open. Nick. Which is basically, you know, the two of them again with a romance, right? And also Tony Roberts is in that too, and funnier in there. Right. I think in a lot of ways, I think Play It Again, Sam is a funnier and better movie. Although there's a lot of good one-liners in here too, a lot of good jokes in here too. Yes. But it's it's a very good movie. I just don't know why. I don't know why. Best Picture and all that. I'd say, you know, Best Director, maybe I'll go one.
I think it's iconic for her because of
the
way that she's dressed. That carried on through a large part of her career afterwards, and even in her personal life. In pictures I've seen, she always tended to dress sort of that way after this film.
Yeah.
It changed her entire trajectory of her career, I think.
That's true. It's true.
Right. Yeah. And it's also interesting that, I mean, two of her most recognizable co-stars in Woody Allen and Al Pacino, I mean, she dated as well. So I found that kind of fascinating, you know, in her, you know, personal life. But Annie Hall's fantastic. I you know, especially for her. You know, I think that is the movie that she won Best Actress for, if I remember correctly.
Did she win for that?
Yeah, I have to go back and double check. But the movie that, I mean, that's always the one that I posted about on Facebook is that, you know, I'd always wanted to see, but because of the music licensing, it wasn't available for decades, and that's Looking for Mr. Goodbar, which I find to be one of her best acting performances throughout her career.
Remember that from the early days of HBO. I've seen that when I was much younger.
Wow. Well, ready for something completely different. Now we'll go back into the horror.
Okay,
or comedy, if you will. Beware the Blob. Not the Blob, but the sequel. Beware the Blob. Another case where they made a sequel in 1971 it was shot, I think. And the first one was 58. They waited a long time. But this is one, I mean, I've seen this before, you know, not in a long time, but I watched this with my friend Anthony. We got together and watched it. This is in color. Like the first Blob was in color, so is this one. But The thing about it is they call it the film that JR shot because Larry Hagman directs this movie and also has a cameo in it. And it's the cast that's interesting in this thing because in addition to Larry Hagman, you've got Dick Van Patten, you've got Carol Lindley in here, you've got Burgess Meredith in a cameo, and this is like a really cheap horror movie. Godfrey Cambridge. Well, it's starring really Robert Walker Jr., who I know him from the Charlie X episode of Star Trek. And also in here is Cindy Williams, Shirley Laverne from Laverne and Shirley. You have Shelley Berman in here. It's like all little kinds of like cameos and things. And, the Blob comes back. It was the last movie. I think it was in the out in the Arctic or something. It was in the ice or something. This time, it comes back. They find in a little container. Godfrey Cambridge found it, brings it home. It gets out, and all hell ensues. And it's kind of like tongue in cheek. There's some jokes everywhere. It's a fun movie. I consider this fun. I have way more fun with this than even the original Blob.
Now, is that the only film that Larry Hagman directed?
I don't know about that. I do not know.
That because I remember watching your video about that, and I keep forgetting to find out whether or not that was his only directed film.
Do not know, but it's fun. I mean, there's parts of the original Blob that I really love. I think there's a lot of good, terrifying scenes in it, but I think it's just padded down with a little too much drag racing and stuff. It feels padded in the middle to me a lot, that one and stuff. Whereas this one it moves better and it's got a little comic edge to it. I'm always saying comical horror movies, they don't take it seriously and not really my thing, but this works. This one works, but it's no great shakes. I'm not going to say, you got to run out and see it. You could live your life without seeing it.
Would you say that the remake of the Blob was a little more terrifying than the original Blob?
I've never seen it, and I have that here on Blu-ray also to check it out. Maybe I should do that. By the way, I want to tell you, this movie here is my favorite genre.
Kino Lorber. USOB.
Yeah, and I think that's it for me right now. So let's see. Let's do some comments here first, if there were any. Monsters was my favorite sitcom when I was little. It still is one of my favorites. It was so good that they're still fun after all these years. Yeah, I mean the makeup, the sets that they use, and some of the actors too. They had Dom DeLuise was in one. I like when Dom DeLuise is the doctor. When Herman goes to see if he can get plastic surgery, he looks like Fred Gwynn, a human being, and he wants to look like Herman Munster again. And he goes, amazing. He says, this is from one bolt of lightning, Dom DeLuise says. He goes, it's an improvement, so don't complain, So, and he's in there. And I saw Harvey Korman. There were a lot of guest stars in these two that I like. Just watched Dracula with the Philip Glass score. It worked well. It was nice for a change. Yeah, I tried it once. Yeah, I couldn't really I didn't like it personally.
Yeah, I remember. I think you said that last week, actually.
Yeah. So, how about you guys with Reds? Being as I haven't seen it.
No, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I had it on DVD back in the day, and I gotta tell you, I found it to be kind of boring, to be honest with you.
Okay, you heard it. And Halloween recommendation: Blood and Roses from 1960, a French vampire film. Yeah. Okay.
All right, not Blood and Lace.
Before we go on, by the way, Tim, sometimes some of these cop shows like and detective shows and things, whatever you want to call it, like Rockford Files or Kojak. Have you ever seen Harry O with David Jansen?
I remember it. I never watched it. I remember it being on. I remember it existing, but it wasn't something that we only had one TV in our house for a long time. So, my dad watched what we watched.
Oh, maybe
Hey,
maybe your dad
you
watched
know
it for all
what?
I know.
No,
I don't see
no.
how that fits into the equation, but be that as it may, because last night, I woke up in the middle of the night. I have the TV on back in the living rooms and snoozing, and Harry O was on there playing it Sunday nights at like 2 in the morning or something, and David Jansen. It was pretty good, and also Anthony Zerbe, who a character actor who I really like, is apparently the lieutenant in there, his boss or something. So I'm thinking of maybe getting the series. There's only 2 seasons, and they're both available. I'm going to see, depending
All right.
on how much they are.
Yeah. So obviously, in Tim's household, his dad was king of the forest.
Well, yeah, when he was home, he wasn't. He
Yeah.
was often not home. But when he was home,
Okay.
yeah, we watched, and there were certain things that he watched and certain things that he hated. So, we didn't watch those, and we watched, eventually me and my brother got a TV in our bedroom. It was our old one from our living room, and they got a new one. But
Mm.
it was black and white, and by that point in time, we were probably 12, 13, 14. I don't know. We were hooked on WPIX on in New York City. We never watched current programs on that. We would watch Get Smart every night, and I forget what else they had on, but our TV hardly ever watched WPIX. No, back in those days, it was Get Smart, and The Odd Couple was one, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know
I
it
don't
was.
remember.
So I watched the repeats.
And then when it got later, same thing that was even on even into the 90s and beyond. The Honeymooners and Star Trek and Twilight Zone was one of them. Twilight Zone was on every night on PIX. That was one of them.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up the Honeymooners because I was going to do it. It's obvious Tom still hasn't been watching Honeymooners because otherwise, instead of King of the Forest, he would have said, "Your dad was king of the castle. I'm the king of the castle."
Yeah, I mean it's still on my Amazon wish list, and it'll happen eventually.
Sure. All right. Well, how about you now telling us about some things you've seen?
Yeah, so last week was at the theater twice for two movies that I was really looking forward to seeing. One was called The Smashing Machine. This is the new film starring The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and it's a film about one of the very first pioneers of the M&A or whatever it's called the fighting, not boxing, but anyways. And it was a very good movie. It's not a film that you would expect from Dwayne Johnson as an actor. It's more than just a fighting a film. It's not like your Rocky style of film. There's a lot of storyline deals with drug addiction. It deals with toxic relationships, and friendships, obviously, and what it takes to be a champion. If you want to dedicate your life to being a champion, and I really enjoyed it. Right now, I have it as my 12th favorite film of the year, and really enjoyed it. But the thing again is to see again. Here's a great small little film that again nobody went to go see. I mean, everybody's bitching about superhero films and reboots and action films and all this stuff. And here's all these great little films that have been coming out, and no one is going to see these films, which is a damn shame.
Yeah.
The other film, the other film I went to go see is Anemone. I believe it's called. It's in general the word is a flower, okay, but this film stars Daniel Day-Lewis, which is in my opinion one of the greatest actors of all time. He co-wrote this film with his son, who was the director of this film. So Daniel Day-Lewis, who was in kind of retirement, he came out of retirement to do this film with his son, and this is very much a father-son kind of movie. It's a very slow burn movie, but the end really pays off. So I mean, there's a lot of people out there that can relate to this kind of movie, who especially sons who are estranged from their fathers, or whether or not they have rocky relationships with their fathers. I definitely kind of related to this film in some kind of way. But I thought that the performances from Daniel Day-Lewis and the actor that played his brother Sean Bean of Game of Thrones fame, I thought was fantastic. The kid who played Daniel Day-Lewis's son in the movie was really good as well. Like I said, excuse me, it's a slow burn. It takes time to get going. It's great character development, and it really takes its time into letting you know these characters and the stories and their backgrounds. But again, it just the only negative for me is that it took its time getting there. It was just like excuse me, a little over 2 hours of a movie. Maybe it could have been cut down a half hour, but it was still a very good film, and I'm very happy that I saw it. And it's just a shame that these smaller films that are coming out, just aren't getting any attention.
Yeah, people used to watch films like that.
Yes, exactly. These kinds of films did well at the box office, even if they came out the same week as a big budget film. Because people wanted variety, right? This is what they wanted back then, and people are claiming for variety now. They're getting it. They're just not going to see it for whatever reason, and I don't get it.
They're not playing on enough screens. I say this every week, but it's true. They're not playing. There's nowhere I can go see this movie. And that's one of the problems. And another problem, after 20, 25 years of nothing but action and superheroes and stuff, a lot of people had enough and they gave up. And you can't really blame them for that. Cause it was so long. If they did it for like 5 years and then said, oh, maybe we should make something else, but they didn't. They did it for so long that I kind of don't blame people. Okay, we're done.
Plus, yeah, I mean, and plus, people have the attitude, okay, well, I mean, in like 3 or 4 months, it's going to be on streaming, or 2 months, it's going to be on physical media. So, a lot of people will wait, and a lot of it too is people don't want to sit through a half hour of flipping, trailers before the film.
All of that.
In a way,
all of that's part of it. The price. And none of it is the viewer's fault. It's all the industry's fault for making you sit through half an hour trailer, charging this much for a movie, putting it out 2 months after it's been in the theater. Sometimes for a while, I don't know if they're doing it anymore, for a while, you could stream it while it was still showing in theaters. Well, how do you expect to make any money? How do you expect to make any money when you're doing that?
There was a time during the pandemic that was happening. They would it
was happening before and after the pandemic as well.
The day that it came out in theaters, they would also be streaming at the same time. That is not a good way to make money. If you're out there, if you're a studio that's out there that wants to make money off of theaters, it was a terrible decision to also make it available on streaming as well at the same time. It's carnal now. It's a fact that if your movie goes in theaters first, and then after then a few months later, 3-4 months later, then it goes to streaming. It does 10 times better on streaming than day of theater and day of streaming.
Here's what I would do if I ran a studio. I would put the movie in a theater when it's done with its theatrical run, no sooner than 6 months. Maybe a year later, I would put it out on physical media. Let that be out for at least 6 months, and then stream it.
Right.
If you want to make money, that's the way to do it.
You guys are looking for
No,
the
and that,
ant.
and that was.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead.
Joe. And that was
I'm still holding it in.
that was the yeah, that was the model for plenty of years. I mean,
yeah,
theater,
and it
I mean,
worked.
studios are losing tons of millions of dollars by going straight to streaming
Exactly.
instead of letting it run on physical media for maybe 6, 7, 8, 12 months first.
It doesn't make any sense to me. It was a model that was never broken. It was never broken. There was never a time when the studios weren't making money doing that. Why did they stop? It's just foolish.
The pandemic, the pandemic.
You're looking for all these reasons. It comes down to, let me talk. It comes down to, for a change, it comes down to 2 words. Okay? You know what those 2 words are?
Oh, boy.
It's over. It's just over. Everything is over. Everything we love, it's over. Movies are over. Comic books are over. Music's over. Television, it's over. There's some good stuff, but the cream of the crop, you got to go back. That's it.
Look, that might work with you and Danny, okay, but that's not gonna work here.
Wait a minute. That might have been not the right way to put it, because that doesn't mean there's not, like you've proven, that there's still good movies, smaller movies being made. I guess what I mean is it's over in the sense of people. I think they want explosion. I think most people they can't watch. They can't sit there and watch like a small little drama. And character development. They want just boom, 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 boom. And they don't feel they have to, maybe they don't feel like they want to go to the theater to see something they can watch. It looks like a TV movie, maybe, to them, They want just all this action on a big screen,
Again, that's the studio's fault. The studios have done that to people.
Yeah, that's what they did.
They're not born that way. We weren't born that. The studios have done that.
That's why. Because
it's the studios and the theaters at the same time. They're both committing suicide. They're both shooting themselves in the foot at the same time. Both of them.
But it's nice to catch a movie once in a while, like when I saw Jaws recently in 3D. Okay, well, a lot of times people will say, "Oh, the sound effects, the sound." And it's in 3D and whatever, yada yada. They don't have sense around anymore. When they made Earthquake, it's sense around. It's like this, folks. It's supposed to be a story with emotion, maybe feelings, characters you can get invested in, telling a story. Really, it's not just about, oh man, no, the sound was so good. You really felt like those cars crashed. You really felt like you were there. That's not all it is to a movie. It's not a movie.
No,
it's a movie like this. This is nothing to have that. This is the kind of movie. Annie Hall's a perfect example of a movie. I wonder sometimes if a movie like this would even be seen. If this was a new movie like Tom's talking about, I wonder if it'd even be seen or playing in a theater.
No, you
watch a younger person. You watch a younger person review a new movie they just bought, a Blu-ray or a 4K or whatever. A half an hour review of this movie that they've just bought, they'll spend 20 minutes talking about the case that it came in and what the disc looked like and the booklets and all the free stuff, and maybe 5 minutes talking about the movie. And because it's all they care about. I don't understand it, but it's all they care about. They don't care about the actual film.
What I'm saying, it's over. A lot of it's just people in general,
Yeah. Right.
There you go. Physical media brains you don't want us to have. And long attention spans. No. Nobody's got long attention spans no more.
No, I can see
people. Tom, what else would you see, if anything?
Well, that was it. I mean, again, just 2 movies at the theater this week. I was hoping to see, actually, I wanted to see one of my favorite fantasy films of all time tonight as we are starting at 7:00. I was planning on seeing The Dark Crystal because they were showing that in theaters as well. But I love doing this show with you guys.
Wow.
So Yeah.
Well, just let me know. So sometimes maybe we could accommodate your schedule. But
Thank
this particular was it Thursday night? There's a double feature in one of my theaters that I want to see, but I've seen this as a double feature already because I love the horror, classic horror. It's Karloff and Frankenstein, followed by Bride of Frankenstein, and it's
Yeah.
playing at a theater. Now I've seen that double bill already. Okay, and I don't know. I just don't know if I'm going to go again. I mean, I like to go with friends. Nobody I know wants to see it. My girlfriend, the last time it played, my girlfriend went with me. We saw it together. This is some years ago. I still might go. I don't know. What gets me is again when a lot of these theaters they show naturally enough the more classics. They show Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, or they'll show. I'm just thinking Citizen Kane, or The Godfather, The Exorcist. They don't show you offbeat stuff like that theater, the Gap. That's 3 hours away, and we'll show you big, weird stuff like Blackula or stuff like that. Just all kinds of weird double features, B movies, Z movies, double features. You're not going to get that. But so I don't really know. I've skipped a bunch of movies. In fact, they had another horror movie that I like from 1985. They had it the other night at this theater that's close enough. It's Day of the Dead, the third in the George Romero trilogy of zombies. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and then Day of the Dead. And I love Day of the Dead, and I haven't seen it on a big screen since 1985. I went by myself on that one. I don't know. I like Tom here. I go by myself. But there's certain movies where I don't know. It would be fun. When if you get somebody who wants to go and see it with you. And I thought that was going to be Anthony, but I would.
Come on, Anthony. Anthony, come on, pal. Stop making excuses. You're not taking your wife to the doctors.
Oh, you heard this already, right? I mentioned this already. Come on.
Go see the movie. Come on, Anthony.
This show starts at 7. The doctor's appointment's 2:00 or 2:30 in the afternoon. Come on, Anthony.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, Outer Limits. I don't know do you know, Mike, that there's a running gag around here that Ramoga wants me. Oh, there it is. There he is. Wants me to see. There we go. Yeah. Jeez, with that Outer Limits. Everybody wants me to watch the Outer Limits. Sopranos, yeah, not too long ago I watched the whole series.
Listen, okay, Joe, just give me a second here. Listen, you didn't know you were going to be interested in movies or TV shows in the past until you actually watched them.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I get that. I get that because listen, I love lots and hundreds of movies of the past as well, but that doesn't make me stop being interested in movies now today either.
Well, where did I say that necessarily? But I'm not.
I'm just responding to Ramoga, who says I'm just not interested in a lot of new movies.
Oh,
now.
I see. Well, the thing is, I'm not either, really. But and again, if I'm missing something, and I probably am missing, like even that movie Get Out, wherever it is this one here that I talked about last time. This is what was this again? 2013. I can't remember what year this was, but I never saw Get Out.
A little later. I
could live the rest of my life, maybe 2017. I could live the rest of my life, I thought, never seeing this, and I'll be fine. I don't care. I happened to see it because my nephew recommended it, and I liked it. I'm glad I saw it. But what I don't know won't hurt me, I guess, in a lot of ways. And I still got a lot of old movies from the silent era all the way till now. By the way, speaking of silent era and stuff, Tim, I've said this. Some of the movies they're playing at this theater, which I have not gone to, I've never seen. Metropolis, and they had it with live music. Didn't go.
Yeah. Silent films with live music is something else.
They had a double feature Nosferatu and Phantom of the Opera with live music. Double feature for Halloween. I'm not going. I like City Lights. I saw that. I like that. Mm-hmm. They had that playing. I didn't go.
That has a soundtrack. So good.
And The Man Who Laughs is another thing they had with live music. Mm-hmm. The Man Who Laughs, Conrad Wright in it.
I still need to see that movie. I've never seen it.
It's a good movie. It's a good film.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch the movie on YouTube, Tim. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna put it in my
Well,
Blu-ray player and watch it.
I see it both ways. On the one hand, my first impulse is Tom's right. Screw watching something on YouTube. Depends what it is, actually. If it's a really obscure movie that it don't look so great anyway, and I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
then again,
that's that movie that you keep on sending me pictures of, Godzilla versus King Kong or whatever it is.
no, you're not
called.
gonna like that.
Actually, I have that on my Amazon wish list.
I
And,
might. I looked up the Criterion thing. That thing is still available. It's $123 for all those Godzilla movies.
Okay. All right.
But I still might get that, but I don't know. But anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. Damn, I hate when that happens.
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry.
It's all your fault.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, of course, it's important. Hold on, that is important. But on the other hand, and I've done it occasionally too, to just buy a movie, especially if it's up there, if it's more than like $5 or $10, just to see it. Because $10, I guess these days a movie ticket's would be $10, so
10,
that's
10
all
to
right.
20.
Just buy a disc that you've never seen and spend $25 or something.
That I don't. One theater I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, Abbott and Costello. Well, this is my Halloween movie. That's my Halloween movie. I try to get that on every year. But again, I've seen it a million times. It's more fun to watch it with somebody that's either never seen it or other like-minded people, like a group of guys or something who like it. We can both join it. It's more fun.
But look, I mean, I understand that. I mean, it's like comfort food, right? It's like a good meatloaf and mashed potatoes. I mean, I get it, but I still love the impact of going to the theater and seeing a new movie and being wowed by it. I mean, I have a lot of movies that I love watching over and over and over again. But it's still that thrill of seeing something new.
Yes, I can't disagree. I forget who said it. I was watching tonight after I finished watching The Fly. There was a Vincent Price documentary that was from like E Entertainment or one of those channels, and somebody in it. And I've already forgotten who it is. This was only a couple hours ago I watched it, but somebody in it, and I agree with this, and it's what's wrong with the Hollywood movies today. I'm not saying all movies, I'm saying the Hollywood movies today. This person said there's 3 reasons that people go to see a movie: to laugh, to cry, or to be frightened. And the Hollywood movies they're making today do none of those things.
Good. Maybe, yeah. I need to excuse myself. I'll be right back.
Oh, you gotta go to the bathroom. Well, anyway, because I was going to say, he's not here for it, maybe, but of course, anytime I watch a movie for the first time, any kind of movie, whether it's in the theater, new movie, old movie, whatever, like one day I may get around to watching Double Indemnity or something. And I might say, "Wow, that it's so good! What a classic!" They said, It
is. It's a great film.
Everybody likes to enjoy a new movie, but I don't understand the whole thing about you don't leave old movies, never see them again, or old music. It's like a song. It's like music. If you like old songs, you don't want to never hear them again. You play them again and again. To me, that's like a movie. Certain movies don't last as much, I don't think, as songs. Like, do you think so, Tim? Like summer movies.
I think the ones you saw when you were a kid, because you didn't see that many, a kid into your teens and maybe even early 20s. But now I've watched between 4 and 6 movies a week. So, in 2 weeks' time, I don't remember them anymore because I've seen another dozen movies since then. And but that's good, because then when I see them again, I won't remember them, and that's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm very big on, because I was going to wait for Tom, really. I don't see the point, the point if you like something, you revisit it. I don't just see something and say, "Wow, that was great. I'm so glad I saw that," and throw it, and then move on. Next one. This is old. The next thing. I never understand that. Either. So, but yeah, I discovered movies I've never seen before, just like I showed you with Get Out or
I most,
whatnot.
I hadn't seen any of these Paul Newman movies I watched the last 2 weeks before.
And how many of them do you think you'd watch again? Any of them, or none of them?
I probably watch them all again, but 3 or 4 I really liked enough to want to watch them again. I
That's
don't
what I mean.
always want. When I put a movie on, I don't always want to watch it. It's just handy and convenient. No, I'll watch this, and
Oh, yeah, that's interesting for sure. Let's go, Tom. Unless anybody else got anything to talk about, we'll just go before Tom comes back. Sign him up.
But I was back in the late '80s, early '90s. There used to be like movie theaters around that played like this place that you want to go to that played films like that. There was this one in the DC area. What a dump! The most uncomfortable seat I ever sat in. If they're a 90-minute movie, I'm doing this the whole time because the seat is so But they showed Russ Meyer films, and they showed just the weirdest, most bizarre stuff you'd never see any. And those places have all 100%, well, not 100%, 99% disappeared. And that's a shame because they show just amazing things.
I was saying, of course, I like seeing any kind of movie, whether it's brand new or old for the first time. And I say, wow, I never saw that. That was a good movie, But I also am a fan, just like with songs we like again and again. I like to revisit favorites.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, for a while there, I was watching, I would do a marathon of all the Lord of the Rings films, and I would do a marathon of all the Godfather films, Star Wars films. I love, like you, I love revisiting a lot of movies. I have a long history with A Clockwork Orange, and that's a film that I like to revisit as well. And I kind of get jealous of the fact that, when people say, hey, I got to watch this film for the first time, and I'm like, oh man, how great it would be to be able to see, a movie we love, for the first time again.
Sure.
And that's why I keep going to the film, going to the theater, because I want that experience to keep going.
But then what happens after that? That's what I'm saying. Because like I don't, you see a film you really liked, it was really good, but then you forget about it until like the next one, and you never revisit it.
I mean that happens. And that happens, and that happened back in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, when I was going to the theater. I started going to the movies, in 79 when my parents first took me to see Star Wars for the first time. Ever since then, it's happened to where I saw a movie at the theater and I thought, maybe I'm never going to see this movie again. And it's a shame. I remember seeing Over the Rain. Was it Over the Rainbow with Chevy Chase and
I saw that. I don't remember anything about it.
And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good movie. You got Carrie Fisher and you got Princess Leia and Chevy Chase, and I'm like, it was a dud.
Yeah, I saw that in the movies.
Yeah.
Well, just finished the book about the making of Strangers on a Train, Crisscross, which I've seen. Then rewatched the movie twice in 2 days.
Did you watch both cuts, Mike? Because there's the British cut and the American cut. Just wondering.
I never saw Doctor Who, never got into it, but I do have the Peter Cushing Doctor Who and the Daleks or something. I have that.
The Daleks. Yeah. I would like to see those. I know Kino Lorber. I think it was Kino Lorber that put those out. I am the biggest fan. Yeah. I'm the biggest fan of Tom Baker as Doctor Who, which I believe that was from 74 to 82. I think those are the best Doctor Who's, period. You can say you can talk all about the bad, special effects and everything, but I think it's 10 times better than the new Doctor Who's that they've been putting out the last 15 years or so.
I like some of the new Doctor Who's, but not nearly all of them. But I do like some of them. I would like Doctor Who a lot. I mean, I thought the guy after Tom Baker, I forget his name. He was from
I know who you're talking about.
All Creatures Great and Small.
Right.
That guy.
Yeah.
That guy was okay. And then after that, the Doctors just started getting really pathetic, and then they ended it for a long time, which nobody cared because the Doctors were getting bad.
Eccleston, that's who they started it with. Again, he only did one season, and then Tennant was good. Matt Smith. Then it was like 3 years. Then that was kind of the norm, even back in the original years. A doctor would be like 3 years, every 3 years, and then Tom Baker kind of broke that mold by going 8 years, and then after that, it was like every 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah, Elvis Vince, screw AI, man. Screw that shit.
Yeah.
I'm really fed up with it. I mean, once in a while I watch something, go, that's cute or whatever, that's interesting. But I'm so tired of where it's going. I really am. And I forget what it was the other day where somebody, I might have mentioned this before, somebody had a picture of two people together, and somebody was saying, "Oh, that's AI. That's AI. Yeah, that's so phony." And people had to say, no, that pictures have existed long before AI. That's a real one. This one's a real one. So you can't tell what's real or what's phony or what's, you're not going to believe anything anymore. And it really sucks. Here I am with a celebrity. I met the celebrity back in 1980. Oh, yeah, well, that's CGI. No, it's from 1980, trust me.
And you're seeing
AI.
it more and more. You're seeing it more and more, especially in all the Beatle Facebook pages. You're seeing more and more AI bullshit.
It's awful,
And I just click delete, and it's gone. It's terrible. It's terrible.
But they got to have something. I don't know how they're going to do it, where it says AI in the corner. You have to have that. I don't know how you do that. Make it against the law. I don't know. Do something that you got to put that there, or it's got to automatically appear. But
what really teased me off about it is you guys having YouTube channels now. If you play a little bit of somebody's copyrighted music, they're coming after you, right? But AI steals everything from everywhere, and that's fine. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then you can make credit for it. There's people. I watched this channel, this girl, her name's Lyd, short for Lydia, and she did a book. She wrote a kid's book about her cat visiting a toy factory. She drew every picture and hand painted them on canvas. Put this book together, put it on Amazon, and it does nothing because all the books that somebody spent 5 minutes typing in the AI and making a book and putting theirs on there is doing so much better, and it's just not fair.
I just heard something. Sometimes you see headlines and things, you don't read them maybe, but I saw something about there was some college student or somewhere suing because they said his report or whatever was AI created, and he said it wasn't. He's fighting it. You don't even know if somebody's your real material or not. You don't even know if it's your real report. Everybody can be an Einstein. Everybody can be a Hemingway.
That's the thing, though. People do use AI for those reports, So it's not like it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I know just the guy to do it too. Yeah, they have to do something. It really is insane, I think.
Especially with when you see like this big tragedy happens, and and then they put a picture of Bob Dylan writing a song for this tragedy. It's just like it's such bullshit.
Now, when you say Alien, you're talking about the one with what's his name, Lance Henriksen. Is that the one you're talking about way back when, or is it a new one? Or before? Well, AI was. You're talking about Alien, like the Alien series. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of Alien, by the way, did you see the Sigourney Weaver interview where she's really considering being in another Alien movie.
I saw that. I didn't read the article, but I saw that she is interested in doing. She had read like 50 pages of a new script or something like that. And she's considering it.
Are the
That's the
aliens
one
going to go to the old folks' home in this one and attack them?
Yeah.
Enough is really enough. I mean, when I was a kid, I'm telling you, I always loved sequels when I was a kid, and I still do to some degree. Like, Frankenstein movies, you had all these
Right.
and Friday the 13th, but I don't know. It's something about it really bugging me. Alien's done, man.
I'm glad you brought that because I wanted to ask you about that too. It's just like, what do you consider a sequel or a continuation? Like here, okay, for instance, Abbott and Costello, okay, they play the same characters in every movie they're in.
No, they don't. Believe it or not, they give them different names.
They're not Abbott. They're okay. Okay, well then, how about Laurel and Hardy? Okay, they play Laurel and Hardy in every film they're in. Now, is that just a series or is that a continuation? Are those sequels? I mean, how do you consider that?
Well, in the case of Laurel and Hardy, I don't give them any. I don't pay it any mind. It's just, I don't think of it as a continuation or sequels or anything.
Okay.
Right. In fact, there's one that is a sequel. It was made as a sequel. There's this one, Them Thar Hills, it's called. It's a short. They made a sequel called Tit for Tat. It's like, in this movie, Them Thar Hills, Laurel and Hardy meet this really little grunty guy who's a nasty guy and his wife, and they get into an argument with them. And then they made a sequel to that, a direct short that was a sequel to that one, where they run into them again. Now they own a hardware store or something, and Laurel and Hardy own a store right next door, so they're fighting back and forth. That's one of the best episodes, Tit for Tat. But in general, Laurel and Hardy, I mean specifically, if you mean them, I never think of that as anything following.
Yeah, can I give my take on this? I've got maybe a different take than you two guys. Before 1955, let's just draw a date here. Sequels were fine because we didn't have television. And if you like Laurel and Hardy and you want to see them again, you couldn't just turn on television and they'd be on every week. So it's a different thing entirely today than it was back, 75 years ago or however long it was. It's a completely different thing. If you like Ma and Pa Kettle, there's 10 Ma and Pa Kettle films. That's fine. They're light comedy. They didn't have television. They couldn't turn them on and watch them every week.
But it's a franchise.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's a franchise, though, kind of like the Thin Man series.
Yeah,
in a way,
it's a franchise like MASH is a franchise. They're all in the family.
Like a good example, like James Bond. I don't think of them as sequels. They're just each one's different.
Yeah.
Unless there's some of them, like Moonraker's kind of in a way a sequel to Spy Who Loved Me, maybe, but because Jaws is in there, maybe.
But then every time a new actor came in to play James Bond, would that be considered a reboot or just more of a continuation of the same thing?
That's a good question. I don't think anybody was thinking about that then. Like when Roger Moore came in.
Yeah, good point.
I don't think anybody was thinking anything like that. But I don't know. That's not how they thought of it. I think a sequel is more like direct, like continuations. Like again, you got Frankenstein, then you got Bride of Frankenstein, which is a continuation from where the first one left off, and it goes on, connected.
Right.
Yes, like kind of separate pieces.
Okay.
Yeah, Charlie Hall, the guy with Laurel and Hardy, that guy's great. He's really good. That guy. He's in a lot of Laurel and Hardy as their nemesis, the Little Menace. Yeah, it's just interesting, But I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just a personal thing. Like for me, like because I like the Friday the 13th movie so much, and those are like sequels. But
the
thing about them is that it's just those movies in particular. If you were a fan, you just say, "Look, I don't really care too much about continuity. I don't care too much about story so much. Just bring them back with a bunch of annoying." Teenagers, just kill them.
Well, I mean, like the Three Stooges. Now, is that considered? Would you consider that like a franchise, then,
I don't know what
or
words you want, but it's different. You keep bringing up like short subjects, shorts, and
no,
like
I'm
a
just, I
TV
To
guess
me,
show.
the
Like
question is,
that
how
was
would
their
you consider
television.
these? Mm,
That was their television to me. It's a different
yeah, it's
thing
like
because they
television,
didn't have
right?
television. That was their television. It's again,
okay.
it's like All in the Family, or back then that was their All in the Family.
And
It
what you were
was a
saying
different.
too about, and which is important, when you said there was no TV yet or whatever, right? Like some of those old movies, like the old monster movies, like you have a mummy movie, Mummy's Hand, just say a mummy movie in 1940. Then they make a sequel in 42. That's 2 years later. Nobody remembers the first one. Nobody, you don't have
Yeah,
TV um,
yeah.
over and over again. You know, you can't
Mm,
stream it or anything or YouTube. So 2 years go by, and you make the movie. And in this particular movie I'm talking about, The Mummy's Tomb, they spent 10 minutes, of the first 10 minutes, showing scenes from the first one
They
to remind you of it.
they
Just to
did
set
that a
people.
lot. They did
And
that a lot in older
but
movies.
it's a
If
six.
it
The
was,
movie itself, The Mummy's Tomb, runs about 60 minutes, 61 minutes, and the first 10 minutes of it is from the
yeah.
previous Mummy
It,
movie to
it,
set it
it,
up.
it mattered. Like I'll use the Thin Man for example. The Thin Man,
mhm.
I'm
if,
gonna
if the
watch those.
Thin Man was developed in the 50s, it would have been a television show. It wouldn't have been a
Right,
movie. It
right,
would have been
right.
television. But we didn't have
And yeah,
television.
yeah.
So,
Or the
the
Andy
Thin Man
Hardy series.
is a bunch of
Right.
movies strung together because it's television of the time.
That's a good way of putting it, Tim. I like that. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
is.
Okay. Yeah.
But
All right.
but with the Mummy, back for a minute, what happens is some people from today, they'll get a DVD set, the Mummy series, and they'll watch it. Go,
Yeah.
man, I had to sit through 10. I just watched the first one, and I guess the
Yeah.
second one, I got to sit through the same 10 minutes over again. Well, that's because you have the luxury these days of watching back to back DVDs. You didn't
Yeah.
have that. It was 2 years in the theater,
Yeah.
the last one.
They even did that on television. If there was a two-parter on a TV show, the first minute or minute and a half would be showing scenes from the last one to catch you up because we didn't have VCRs and stuff back in the 70s and 60s. And so they would do that even on television.
Mm.
Now, this is a good idea. If you're telling me that the Godzilla thing is going to be
Yeah.
$60, that's hard to believe, though. But
I don't know about 60, but maybe 100
or maybe the
or
one,
so.
now that I saw at 120, maybe that's already is discounted.
Mm.
But there are a lot of movies in there. But I mean, I have them all. I do. What do I want them for? I don't know. I watched reviews of them, and it sounds hit and miss. There's little things that you have to be a Godzilla freak to understand them, but. Some
Well,
fans are very picky with the certain dubs, American English dubs that
right.
they want that are not on these. Toho, the Japanese studio that makes the Godzilla movies, doesn't like a lot of those Americanized, the ones I grew up with from the 60s and 70s. They don't like a lot of
No,
those.
no.
Right. And then
So they don't
there's
want
the,
them.
the question, Joe, that you always bring up. I mean, when you look at it like a set like that, you got to ask yourself, I mean, how many times am I really going to watch, 30, 40 movies, that are in this set? How many times am I really going to watch, all
Well, I
20?
don't know about you, but me, I watch the Godzillas a lot, but I don't know about you.
Well,
But
I know that. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Just,
yeah.
but that's what you got to take under consideration.
I don't know. Do detectives think is that a silent Laurel and Hardy murder mystery? I know. Yeah, well, there's so much stuff to watch, and here I am doing a show.
You wouldn't be watching it if you weren't, Joe.
Sure. But it depends. Some people would want, like I was trying to say, like with the Jason movies, Friday the 13th. They stopped making them because there's legalities. It's so stupid over who owns the name Friday the 13th and who owns the name Jason.
Right.
There's two different,
Right.
and they can't make them like they're making all these other things. So he's been off the
Right.
screen for 2009 was the last one of those. But I would just see. I don't care. I just want to see the same thing. I don't even care. Just put it in a different location, maybe. Put one of them in the winter time in the snow. Put another one in the summer. Put one of them on a boat, ship, cruise ship. The other, I don't really care where it is. But certain things like the Alien franchise, I really got sick of that a long time ago, man. I don't know about
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah, no, and then plus Amazon spent nearly close to $1 billion or $500 million just to get the rights to certain parts of the Lord of the Rings franchise to do the TV show, the 2 seasons of the show that they did, the Power of the Ring or something like that. I'm forgetting what the name of it is, and it's just fascinating, just because there's this franchise here that they think is worth spending that much money just to get the rights to do certain aspects of the book but not the whole book, and it's just really it's really fascinating what studios are willing to pay money on to do these days.
Sure. Short films were called a series for theatrical release. The Our Gang series, Laurel and Hardy series. Yeah.
Right. And I understand that the serials, the shorts, like
Yeah.
the Flash Gordon and the Batmans and the Shazams back then were called serials, which were kind of like almost in a way sequels because they would always leave on a cliff and end on a cliffhanger, and you would have to go back the next month or whenever to see the next
every
one.
week.
Yeah.
But even things like Our Gang, they try to have a new one out every week. That's.
I noticed they called them seasons even then. That's not like a new. You call TV. They're very big now. Season 1, season 2. Apparently, they used to even call them that back then. I found out when I watch old literature from there, like the Three Stooges. The new season of Three Stooges, they call them seasons.
No, that's
right.
Really
well,
good.
Philip,
That's
I'm
the
glad you.
American thing.
Yeah, I'm glad Philip checked out. Yeah, I'm glad he checked out something maybe different than what he would normally watch. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I'm still trying to think. Like when I do get back to doing more videos on this channel for more movies, which I threw a few in. Nobody's interested, but when I start trying to do it more, I'm still trying to think if I should do them in bulk. Like this is what I watched lately this month. Here's like 10 movies or whatever it is, 10 movies at a clip, real quick. But the only problem I have with that is how are people going to locate specific reviews? If you want to see what I thought of a certain movie ever, I wonder what Mayo thought of this movie, but I didn't do an individual review. You can't search it. It's inside what I watched this month. It could be anywhere. So I watch quite a lot of foreign films actually.
I think that's fantastic. I think if you're like a film fan and you like films that are like, excuse me, more realistic, I think foreign films are some of the more realistic films that you can see. And I love foreign films. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of foreign films, and I think they're great.
I don't know how to approach this. Anthologies, collections.
I mean, I guess it just depends on the years that they're released out, right? I mean, like the Flash Gordon, serials of the 30s and 40s. I mean, those would be considered serials, right? I mean, that's what inspired George Lucas to do Star Wars was those serials from the past. So yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, that's something that I would love to look into and see what other people consider what is a serial, what is an anthology, I mean, what is a sequel,
Well, a serial is, I know that's weird. I don't think of them as sequels. They're like one story, right?
Yeah,
right. Chopped up.
Yeah, they film it like a movie, and then they chop it up into 10-minute bits and put it out.
But here's another one. How about those road movies from Bob Hope and Bing Crosby? Right? They're all called The Road to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a series that they did. That would be a series.
Yeah, those old things that we're talking about, like a lot of comedians and the 40s, the 30s, 40s. Yeah. That's pretty much they're just series and they're different different stories in a series. Sequels are more of a direct link, right? Would you say they it's a continuation from the last one usually.
Yeah,
But if you're
but in the
saying
case of
continuation, but if you're, I'm sorry, Tim, but if you're saying continuation, then that also, in a way, kind of means sequel, don't you think?
Yeah.
well,
Sequel is a sequel is a continuation of
in
it,
the case
right?
of the road movies, they weren't even always playing the same two characters. They were
Well,
playing
that's the
very
thing.
similar
Yeah, what happened?
characters. They give them different names, and you didn't have to see
Okay,
one to get the next one. You know what I mean? They weren't
right.
connected in any way.
Yes,
They
Right.
were just
and that's a
independent
big
films
point.
with these two guys
Right.
in them.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good point because they're a standalone film. You don't have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see,
right.
need to see the previous film to watch the latest
exactly,
film.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's
They always met Dorothy Lamour for the first time. You know, I mean, they weren't
Right.
connected in any way. You know,
and that's a good way. I think that's the best way to put it, right? Isn't that doesn't that
Right.
sum it up pretty much? Something that's standalone, and yet
yeah.
standalone or
Yeah.
kind of continued.
Same thing with like a lot of shorts. Most Laurel and Hardy shorts are standalone. Little Rascals are mostly standalone. You don't have to have seen the last one to get the new. You know,
Right.
But sometimes there will be situations if you like with that Laurel and Hardy
Yeah.
too, where they'll make shorts that two of them together that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah. But for the most part, you didn't need to. And sometimes it would be jokes that would reference past films, but it was just a joke you didn't get if you hadn't seen it. You know, it didn't hurt your appreciation of the film. You just missed something.
Season looking at the year the film were produced.
Yeah, see, they don't do that in the UK. They call everything a series. There's no, like Top Gear, my favorite show of all time, generally had 2 series a year. You know, they didn't call them seasons; they were series.
Yeah.
You know,
serial is something else entirely. It's just a continuous storyline where they split them into chapters and put them in before movies, right? Every time you go to the theater,
generally shown on Saturdays for kids. Generally between 10 and 15 chapters in each serial, so they last 10 to 15 weeks, and that they did those to fill the theater, because if kids saw the first one, they'd want to see the second one and the third one. Right. So the same kids would go to the theater every week, and that's how you get them there. You make serials, you know.
Well, Philip, if you're talking about the one with Sidney Poitier, that would be called the Defiant Ones, which I highly recommend anybody.
Oh, I've always mentioned that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. But there's also a great one with Burt Lancaster, which I'm forgetting the name of right now, that I need to look up. But Tony Curtis has been in some really good films, including Spartacus, Sweet Smell of Success. That's the one with Burt Lancaster that I was just mentioning, which is a fantastic film. But it might be, but the one that we've brought up often, Joe and I, is the Defiant Ones with Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I was looking to get a copy of that, but I don't think I've had a hard time finding.
Yeah, it hasn't been reissued on Blu-ray yet.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing too. You say, who was it about? Like this here, like, yeah, but sometimes they never had it. Like they don't have an intention of making sequels, but it does well. Like Planet of the Apes never was going to have a sequel. You know, and then it did well, so they tried to make. Then they made sequels. Not that every film that starts out is intended to have a sequel, right? It has to do with how popular it is.
I don't know. These days, a lot of films.
Oh, these days, yeah, it's a little different these days, maybe.
Back when they were making, you know.
Well, they made at least 3 Smokey and the Bandits, didn't they? I think so.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's 3.
I'd have to look into that, Philip. I don't recall. I mean, there's this movie called Swept Away, but it wasn't with Tony Curtis. But I'll look into that and I'll get back to you on that, Philip.
Don't forget some like it hot.
Yeah.
Tony Curtis
doing his best Cary Grant.
Nobody talks like that.
I don't love that film. I might be the only person
Me either.
that doesn't love that film. I think
like
I think Tony Curtis has done much better films. I think Marilyn Monroe has done much better films. I think Jack Lemmon has done much better films.
Marilyn Monroe, I haven't seen enough of her stuff.
I've seen a lot of it, and she's actually really good in some films. She's surprisingly good in some films.
I don't know. I think it's a brilliant film.
Norton, what is Marilyn Monroe doing here? Where? Well, it's we can end it now. I think we did pretty good tonight, guys. This has been a good one. All good ones, really. Tom, I'm glad you all came on, and you too, Tim. Glad you came on.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to watch one
questions. Good job, everyone.
We got time for just 30, 40 more questions. We got no place to go. Yeah, well, this is the first time. I was saying this before. I think the first time I ever saw her might have been in Sleeper, as a kid. Well, that might have been the first time. Somebody, in fact, somebody just said that again. This young guy at the store keeps asking for advice, or things to see, or music to listen to, and he said, "Woody Allen, what do you recommend?" And I said, "Well, I think Sleeper would be a good place to start if you've never seen a Woody Allen movie." That's the one I always recommend if nobody's ever seen him. Well, if you're a kid, anyway, I usually say that. I don't know. Annie Hall's a good one, also. I think to start with.
Well, I mean, yeah, great, but Take the Money and Run is fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
And play those two early ones before he became a household name. Take the Money and Run and Play It Again, Sam. I think are a great place to start for Woody Allen.
What was the one? I forget the name of it, where he took a Japanese film and just, what's up, Tiger Lily? Don't start there.
What's up, Tiger Lily?
Don't start there.
I mean, that's a diehard Woody Allen fan. I mean, those are just
start there.
Diehard Woody Allen fans.
Well, a lot of people say Bananas, but I don't know. I mean, it's good, but it's political. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't start with Interiors.
Look, I mean, be a Woody Allen fan first, and then, I mean, because Interiors is like his Ingmar Bergman phase. It's definitely it's definitely something you need to be a Woody Allen fan first.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, got to start out with those and the comedies.
Right.
And I haven't seen Interiors, by the way.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, it's great cast, great dialogue, but again, it's not it's more on the depressing side. But it's an acquired taste is what the word is, the term I was looking for.
Sure. All right, boys and girls, that's it. So, I like the intro to that one. That's a wild intro on the train. That's a good one. No, do not start with Zelig. No.
No, Zelig is fantastic. Zelig is
you'll never watch
It's not a good starting point. I agree. It's not a good starting point.
Okay, good point. It's not a good starting point.
Yeah, I wouldn't start with that.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's cool, but don't start there.
All right, everybody. This was really good. I'm going to get out of here. So, talk to you next week. Hopefully, everything will be on.
All right, you get out of here. You get out of here. Tim and I will stick around then.
Oh, so you want to stick around longer? Get out of here.
I'm teasing.
I know it. All right, everybody. He's teasing.